and thank you for joining us for this segment of Parent Cafe. I am your host, Patrice Canty, and I have the pleasure of having Mrs. Millicent West and Mrs. Vivian Ross with us here today. Millicent West is a native of Charleston, South Carolina, where she graduated from Barnes Wilson High School with honors at the age of 16. After graduation, she earned a full band scholarship and matriculated at Livingstone College, where she earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. She furthered her education at the University of Maryland, College Park, where she received a Master of Education degree in counseling and later matriculated at Liberty University, where she received a Master of Religious Education degree. In 2016, she became a nationally certified instructor for the Sunday School Publishing Board, National Baptist Convention USA, and in 2017 became a certified Christian Leadership School Dean and serves in that capacity at New Zion Hill Missionary Baptist Church. In 2014, West founded and serves as the CEO of Grant West Enterprises Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization providing evidence-based optimal health programs for teens and community outreach services for those in need. She is a certified grant writer and has held positions as grant administrator and principal on several federal grants. Her work experience includes Assistant Dean of Students, Director of Student Activities, Director of Housing at Payne College, eligibility caseworker at the Department of Family and Children's Services, Chief Operations Officer at Clergy for Educational Options, Columbia, South Carolina, Director of New Bethlehem Community Center, and Adjunct Professor of Religion at Payne College. In 2020, Millicent founded A Gate Printing and More, your business concierge, where she serves as the CEO. She is an active member and current corresponding secretary of the Augusta Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a member of the Livingstone College National Alumni Association, and member of the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. And next, we have Miss Vivian Ross. She is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia and a certified professional counselor supervisor. She, along with her husband, are the owners of Elephant in the Room Counseling Services. Together, they specialize in marriage and relationship therapy. She has worked in the field for over 18 years. And although today she works primarily with couples, she loves the work she does with women and seniors. She has a Bachelor's of Arts from Augusta University and a Master of Science in Counseling and Psychology from Troy University. She is certified as a professional counselor supervisor, and she is committed to training and developing quality therapists that are equipped to work within their communities. Her treatment modality is solution-focused therapy, as well as cognitive behavior therapy. She is passionate about helping couples and individuals discover the solution to their issues by discovering their strengths and recognizing their wins. Vivian loves and laughter. Today, y'all, I hope you have the pleasure of hearing from these amazing women that's right here in our community.
Thank you, Patrice, for that introduction. And as you all can tell, based on what you've heard, we can talk about being busy because we have busy lives. I'm sure you would agree. And many of you out in our viewing audience have the same situation where you have a lot of different hats that you wear. This particular subject is very close to me because if you know me well, you know that I juggle a lot of balls and I wear a lot of hats. And just trying to keep all of that straight and take care of me while I'm doing it all, sometimes it's daunting. It's sometimes very challenging. And I must admit, I'm not always successful at it. But I think that we can speak to our village and speak to those of you out there to say, you know, you can do this. You can take care of yourself during busy times, and especially when you have busy lives. I want to just kind of just define self-care first as we get ready to get started. And I'm going to read it because I want to make sure that I'm sharing the information accurately. And self-care is the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. Another definition of self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. And so a lot of times when we look at our lives in total, we realize that we're not really doing that well. We're taking care of everyone else. As women, we're caretakers, we're doers, we make it happen, but we don't always do a good job of taking care of ourselves. So one of the things that I would say to you as we get started, sometimes I think I'm a comedian on the side, is that self-care is not going to get your hair done, going to get your nails done, and those little things that we do, and we sit back in that chair and we put on that massager and we say, oh, I'm just taking care of myself. No, guess what, you all? That's maintenance. We don't need to see your nails unsightly. We don't need to see your hair all over your head. Getting your eyebrows done and all of that, that's maintenance. But we're talking about something that's a little bit deeper, and that is the thing that will help your mind to be where it needs to be so that you can be the person whom you need to be. A couple of quotes. Anne Lamott said that almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a while or for a few minutes, and that includes you. So sometimes we have to disengage and unplug in order to take care of ourselves. Diane von Furstenberg said, it is so important to take time for yourself and find clarity. The most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. And so that is very important. And you know that. So in other words, and in today's terms, we got to do us. You got to do you. And so that's kind of what self-care is about. It covers a lot of different areas. Self-care covers setting boundaries. Sometimes you have people who step over those boundaries and you never have time because they're always in your space. You have people that are saying things, or maybe you're saying things or thinking things that don't really contribute to your growth. And so those are things we want to look at as well. Sometimes you're practicing negative self-talk. We've got to talk positively to ourselves. We need to spend more time around healthy people. Think about it for a moment. Who's in your inner circle? Who is it that you surround yourself with? Are these people who are going places, doing things, who are positive, who pour positivity into you, who challenge you to be your best self? Or are these people who drain you and pull so much from you that it's hard for you to take care of yourself? Just ask yourself that question. Also, you may also think about asking for help when you need it. We're bad about that. We don't want to ask for help. We know we need help. We have a village around us. We have people who care about us, who want to see us do well and do good, but we don't want to ask for help. And sometimes we don't ask for help because we've been conditioned to think, oh, I don't want anybody in my business. I'd rather have somebody in my business helping me than for me to be in a hospital because I haven't taken care of myself and I'm doing too much. So those are just some of my thoughts about self-care. I can go on and on and on about it, but we have a professional here today. And that professional is Ms. Vivian Smooth-Ross. And she actually works with people each and every day with these same things that I'm talking about, and helping them to find a way to self-care and a way to clarity and a way to be being healthy. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to let Vivian, share with you all at this time.
I'm going to jump right on in where what you were talking about. So Millicent talked about what is self-care and what it was and what it's not. And when we're so busy, because we're busy taking care of everybody, our children, our husbands, ourselves, our jobs. How can we take care of ourselves when we are so busy?
Yeah.
When can we find time to find that balance? And I think that one of the ways we know that we are practicing self-care is when we are balanced. And when I talk about being balanced, there are 4 aspects of our life that we want to try to maintain that balance at all time. And that's our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health. And if we can maintain that balance, we can walk in this world like, come on, let's do this. But in the other part about that is when we're so busy, how can we find time in our day to actually take care of ourselves? Self-care. So self-care does not mean I got to go away for a week. I got to get this vacation in and I'm going to take this week off of work and I'm going to get this self-care thing done. That's not what it is. When we think about self-care, we're thinking about being consistent and intentional about taking care of ourselves. Some of the ways when we're busy that we can put self-care in our daily lives is, let's say if I usually get up at I'm waking the whole house up at 6:30. So let's meet myself, my kids, my husband, everybody's getting up at 6:30. We can practice self-care if we change that to we get up at 6 o'clock and we take some time for ourselves. Let's take care of our spiritual health, our physical health, our emotional, mental health during that time. And that's just 30 minutes. Let's take 30 minutes every day for just us. And then after that 30 minutes, then we wake everybody else up. That's how we get the little bit of time in for ourselves in our busy schedules. And maybe we don't have 30 minutes in the morning. What if we had the evening time once everybody goes to bed? Then we take our time that's our relaxation time. Everybody's in the bed. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to take my bubble bath. I'm going to read. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do things that's just for me. I'm intentionally putting things in place that's for me. What if we have one day during the week or one day every other week on Wednesdays? When I get off work, everybody know, don't bother me on Wednesdays because that is my time that I'm being selfish. But I'm taking care of me. So Wednesday, I'm going to Bible study. I'm going to take care of my spiritual health. I'm going to close my door, lock my bedroom door, get my bubble bath and my book, my candles. But whatever I'm doing, I'm intentionally doing something consistently to take care of me. And that's what's important about self-care is that we do it intentionally, we're persistent, and we're consistent about the things that we're doing, that we're putting in place that's for us.
It sounds like consistency is the important component.
That's the important component.
So it's not just I'm running away for a weekend and getting away for the weekend, then jumping right back into the same routine, doing the same thing that stressed me out in the first place.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
How about sometimes in the middle of the day, we have to sometimes just take a moment, maybe close our office door if we're in an office, or just maybe leave the office. How many of us, be honest, I can't see you, how many of you sit at your desk and eat your lunch?
That part. You gotta do it.
You gotta break away. You gotta take care of you. Why? Because people are pulling from you all day and you're giving all day. But when do you take a moment for you? No matter how well you are at what you do, if you don't take care of you or take a moment for you, guess what happens? You run out, you burn out, you have nothing else to give. So you have to take a moment, run out. Guess what if you have some leave time, take a moment, take an afternoon and run to the movies. Go see the movies. That's right. I said it. On a weekday during work time, if you have time, you can take off and you feel, you're stressed. Guess what, you all go to the movies in the middle of the day when it's hardly nobody in the theater. You sit back, you relax, you can eat all the popcorn you want, and nobody will tell. Whatever you need to do. Guess what? Because when you get back to work, that work is still going to be waiting for you. Guess what? And so sometimes, and I know me, and I have to, in full transparency, I'm so concerned that I'm going to get behind.
Right.
And that I'm not going to be able to catch up because I have so many balls I'm juggling. But after a while, when you're juggling all those balls, you're going to drop something. Take care of you. Take care of you. We all know that when we're on a plane and they're giving us the instructions, what do they tell you? if the air mask fall down,
Put it on
you first.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
Then you can take care of the
Mhm.
others. And that's true. If you don't take care of you, you can't do any of these things that we're talking about. So you got to take care of you.
And when you talk about taking up, I usually don't do something, don't take care of myself, don't break for lunch because I'm scared I'm going to get behind. That's why I talk about being consistent. So if every day I'm putting this in place, right? I know that I'm taking that hour every day. That's something that I consistently do. So once I start consistently doing that, that means that I'm better at managing my time. And so now I'm not going to get behind because this is something that I'm doing every day. I'm managing my time. I'm being consistent and persistent about taking care of me. That's why it's important. Leave your desk every day. Leave your desk every day. That work gonna sit right there until you get back. But you're being consistent, and once you start being consistent about how you operate in your office, how you do your work don't get behind.
That's true. And you know, I have to also add this, and that is in all transparency, I would find myself getting irritated when I would try to contact somebody and they weren't available. Maybe I went up to a business and they had a sign up, we close for lunch during this time and this time. Guess what they're doing? They're taking care of themselves. They are making sure that they get a break from the routine of the day. And some people have just blocked out that time of saying, hey, this is me time. And I'm going to take care of me during this time, you know. So I don't think that we should feel bad about that.
Right.
In fact, Andre Lord says that self-care is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. So if we want to take care of us, then there are some things we got to do, and we can't feel guilty about it.
Right.
We can't feel guilty about it.
Right. And we're not going to be any good for anybody else if we don't continue to take care of ourselves. If we don't start taking care of ourselves. Because that's important. And I'm glad to hear that so many people are talking about self-care now. It's just, let's get it right. Let's not, I don't care if you take the week vacation, but take a week vacation every year. Not just once in 5 years or 10 years. Do it every year. And that's part of self-care. So if I'm going to plan this into my schedule every year, I'm going to do this, then yes, that means I'm definitely going to be taking care of myself. So yeah.
That sounds awesome. And I hope that this is something that, you know, we all can begin to incorporate into our lives, because it's extremely important. As we've said, you know, it's just one of those things that we have to do. And I guess just briefly, sometimes people feel that they can't speak to, we didn't talk about the therapists and getting therapy, because sometimes we really need therapy because it's been so much for so long. And so talking to someone who is able to provide that kind of therapy for us is something that is not very often talked about in our community. We're starting to talk about it more now. But can you speak to a little bit about how people can access therapy at and not feel that they can't afford it? I guess is what I'm thinking.
And so now, of course, online, you can just Google whatever type of therapist you need. You can Google it. It'll bring you up a list of therapists. That's an easy way. There are other sites like Psychology Today. People that you know can refer you to a therapist. Call the therapist office. Most of the time, the therapist will take all the insurance, and so you can pay for it through insurance. And then there are also practices who don't turn anybody away from services. So we don't turn anybody away from services. If you don't have insurance, most offices have a sliding scale, so it's based on your income. Or they have grant money available. So if you don't have the money, they utilize that grant money to pay for your services. So never feel like I can't afford services, because there are so many options out there. And a lot of times if you call one practice and they cannot help you because you don't have the right insurance or whatever, they can definitely refer you to somebody else. So say, hey, do you know another therapist? Can you refer me to somebody else? And we all are talking to each other and keep a list of, so we know who offers the things that we don't offer.
Awesome.
Well, listen, y'all have, I don't know, this Parent Cafe should have been an hour long, because this is my type of carrying on right here. I love to talk about self-care and taking care of you
Mhm.
and
Right.
not feeling bad about it,
Right. Mhm.
because it's not a selfish thing to take care of you. It is very much necessary and it is very much needed.
Yes.
I was over there in the Amen choir when y'all was speaking on some of the things, like as far as maintenance and self-care. It's two totally different
Right.
things. And I believe that is something that people have blurred lines about, thinking that if I just go get my nails done, this is self-care. No, that is maintenance. You just want your nails done. You just want your hair done. But to be able to do something that relaxes you mentally and,
Right.
and stimulates you physically and spiritually, emotionally, those are the things that targets in on our self-care. And because I was going to get to that therapy, because I was like, so we need therapy.
Yes.
And people often correlate therapy with meaning something is wrong.
Right.
Everything could be going, quote unquote, right
Yes.
in your life. And you
Absolutely.
still need an outside person to talk to,
Right.
to release to just even share an idea or, whatever with. You still need that person.
Right.
So also, do you think it's very important for a therapist to have a therapist?
Oh yes, and I say this all the time. If you go to a therapist and that therapist have never been to therapy, get you another therapist. Because that means that therapist don't trust the process. So you're not gonna go to a doctor who don't go to doctors, right? So if you go to a therapist and ask, do you have a therapist? Yeah, I got a therapist.
Look, you said, and if they don't have a therapist, it's just I appreciate you, but
you might not be the right therapist.
you may not be the right therapist for
exactly.
me. Yes, it is something else that when you all were talking that made me think of something on how a lot of us have our phones glued in our hands, and we find, which is crazy, but it's practical because this is the world that we live in. When our phones go dead, we plug them up. We give it all the juice that it needs. We give our phone. We go upgrade it. We go make it beautiful. Whatever the case is, download all the latest apps and everything.
Yes.
But sometimes we don't do the same thing for ourselves. When we feel ourselves depleting, when we feel like our energy is getting low, when we feel like even with the maintenance, sometimes once we get so low, sometimes we don't even give ourselves the proper maintenance that we need anymore.
Right.
And so if you do all of that for your cell phone, you plug your cell phone up when it get dead, when the latest apps come out, you download it, you upgrade it, buy all the pretty cases, do you not deem yourself more important than a cell phone?
Well, let me add this. You know what we do with our cell phones? We don't even let our cell phones go dead, right? We charge our phones up every day.
Every
Right.
day. Throughout the day.
Yes. Why don't we charge ourselves up every day?
Every
We
day.
don't have to wait till we deplete it, right?
Right,
If we're
right.
consistently taking care of ourselves every day, right, then we'll stay up here, right?
Right.
But if we let it go dead, like we let that cell phone go dead, now we got to recharge. It's harder.
It's harder.
It's harder
Right.
to get that charge back and that energy back when you're completely gone.
Exactly.
But if you charge yourself up every day, like you do that cell phone every day, right? Because when I get out of work, first thing I do is go put the phone on the charger.
Put the phone on the charger.
I gotta put me on the charger.
Yes, you have to put you on the charger because it's very important. Just like you were stating about, sometimes we do have very busy lives.
Yes.
And sometimes we find it hard to find time to do the things that we need to do to take care of. But like you said, in the morning, get up 30 minutes early. Get up 30 minutes early. Yes, sometimes we're tired. We don't want to. We want to get all the sleep that we want to get. But you are so much more of a better person.
Right.
You can be a better person for yourself and to others, to your family. If you just get up 30 minutes early,
Right.
get your spiritual in, get your mental right, go ahead and get your day line set your goals, set your intentions for the day, and get your day started. And we have to, when we mimic that, when we do that for ourselves, those are things that we can begin to mimic for our children.
Yes.
Right.
Which
Exactly.
I think that is very important because kids need self-care too.
They do. And if I can jump in, men need self-care.
Yes.
A lot of what we talk about, sometimes we think it's just women,
Right.
but it's not. Men need self-care.
Yes.
And a lot of times, because when we think about our men, they are under a lot of stress a lot of times. They have factors that affect them differently.
Right.
And especially if they've lost a job
Yes.
or,
Yes.
you know, or
Yes.
something that's been very meaningful to their lives,
Right.
and they don't have that anymore. They really need a lot of self-care.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And then you often hear men like, we don't have time. I don't have time for that. Or I have a family to take care of,
Right.
or every, you know, all the little nuances,
Mhm.
you know, that the little
Yes.
quotes that they say. But no, you need time. You need to go get a massage.
Yes.
You need to go fishing.
Uh-huh.
You need to do whatever you
Get
need
your
to do.
feet done.
Get your feet done. Yes. You need to do those things as
Yeah.
well, because sometimes, like you said, when we have the conversations about self-care, it seems like it's always geared towards women.
Right.
Always, yes, women wear a burden. We have a burden. We wear many hats.
Yes.
But sometimes, like you said, sometimes the men carry the weight of the world on their shoulders,
Right.
and they are expected to
Right.
just carry it and be okay, because you are the man of the house. You are the pillars of the community.
Right.
But the pillars need breaks too.
Mhm.
You know, you can still be strong and take a break.
Uh-huh.
Your strength is not gonna. You still gonna be
Right.
strong once you come back from fishing.
Right.
Once you come back from doing what you need to do to clear your mental,
Uh-huh.
you're still strong. You're still strong. And so those things are very, very important.
Right.
It is.
You know, those things, women, men, we are equally important to the ones that we love, to our families, to everybody that is connected to us. So we
Right.
have to make sure we are in alignment with ourselves,
Right.
so we can be what we need to be to who we need to be to.
That's
Right.
right.
You know,
And you know, sometimes we think we can't afford these things.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about old school, the foot tub, whatever. You get a little basin, put your water in there. Listen, if you don't have the right kind, put something soapy in there
Right.
and stick your foot in it and just sit back and
Right.
relax.
You
You
put
know,
Epsom salt.
Epsom
Yes,
salt,
yes.
some salt.
Yes.
There are ways to do what we're talking about to take care. It's like we used to say, Calgon, take me away. It doesn't have to be Calgon,
It
but it can be something that says, hey, I'm just taking care of me.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And put those fingers in there. You don't have to get, certain kinds of nails, but you can do a manicure
Right.
for yourself, and
Yeah.
just do that. Get some oil, and put it in
And,
there.
and that's that. And I'm
Yes.
so tickled because the other night my daughter told me she got some alcohol
Mhm.
and she put it in the bathtub. She said, "Yeah, because I seen my grandma Tina put alcohol in the tub." And she said, "Oh, it just relaxed me so well." Whatever you see your granny do, girl, go with it.
Okay.
Because the old school know. Okay, let's go relax your
That's
body.
right. That's right. Yes. So it's just taking care of us.
Mhm.
Taking care. And when we take care of ourselves, we feel better.
Mhm.
We have better attitudes. We
Right.
treat other people
Right.
differently.
We do.
Our interpersonal relationships
Yes,
are
That's
different.
right.
And it just makes a big difference. So so that's why this topic is just so important to
Right.
me.
Right.
And like you said, use that lead.
Mhm.
You accumulating all these hours, because what you waiting on to do? What you waiting to go? What you accumulating on the time when people retire? They have all this leave. No, because at one point it used to be admirable.
Yeah.
To I've never had a day off work.
Mhm.
I've been here. You hear people, and a lot of men been 20 years and only been off work 2 days.
And then they retire and die a year later
Yes,
because
Yes.
it's been too much.
it's been too much.
Mhm.
Use your leave, y'all. Use your leave. They say use it or lose it. I'm gonna make sure I use every piece of leave
Yeah.
that they give me.
And
I may have to borrow some of my coworkers.
take your
Because
lunch break. Take your lunch break.
Oh yes, that is important because I'm very guilty of it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not gonna call my coworkers out because some of them are very guilty of it too. But we do. We'll go but we'll go out and get our lunch, but we'll come back
And sit at
and sit at our desk
Yes.
to eat our lunch.
Mhm.
So we should make a commitment then, even if we do that and go out, find a place to sit. Even if it's in your car. Your car can be your haven.
Yes.
And just do that. And when I'm saying this, I'm speaking to me too, because I know I'm guilty. Sometimes the day just gets away from me.
Uh-huh.
And I have a way of saying that every day has a personality of its own, and it takes on its own life.
Right,
So no
right.
matter what you plan, you know, the Bible
Mhm.
says we plan, but God laughs
Mm.
because we don't know what's coming up in a day, but He
Mhm.
does.
Yes.
But we can still take care of ourselves.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Well, yes, y'all. Well, we have. I love. Listen. This is the type of topic I love to talk about, self-care and stuff. We can sit here all day.
Yes.
But I thank y'all so much for tuning in, for taking time out your day to come and talk about something that's so very important. Elephant in the Room Counseling,
Yes.
Grant West Enterprises. I love it when we can all come together and collaborate and be able to put something out to the community that's very useful and
Right.
practical
Mhm.
and become one.
Yes.
So I thank you, ladies, so
Thank
much
you.
for
It's been
being
a pleasure.
here.
Thank you.
And so y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for, I hope you have received some very valuable information because very valuable information was put out. See you next month. Bye. Bye.